Hi folks, thank you for joining me for today's craft. My name is Sarah and I'm the Creative Services Coordinator at Addison Public Library. For today's craft we are going to make a flower bouquet with rolled paper flowers. We had a limited number of kits available for pickup on a first come first served basis in the Creative Studio. If you were able to get a kit, it has almost everything you need for this craft. It includes 7 pre-cut flowers that look like this. We are going to roll these into flowers. You only need 6 for this craft, so the 7th one is kind of a practice extra just in case. We also included 14 leaf petals that you're going to use for creating your flowers. And then it also included a plastic planter with a water catch tray, floral foam, and dried moss. And lastly in the kit, we had 6 floral stems that are already pre-made and ready to go for this craft. If you are making this craft on your own, you will need floral stem and then also jewelry cutters and pliers. To get everything assembled, you're going to need hot glue or some other type of glue. And then we do recommend having floral tape to help make the stems look nicer, or a paper quilling paper quilling tool. The floral tape and the paper quilling tool are optional and not necessary. So that's everything that you need for this project. Let's get started. To assemble the planter, you're going to take the pot with its water tray, the foam, and the moss. We won't be watering these flowers since they are paper, so you don't really need the water tray, but you can use it for future gardening purposes if you repurpose the planter. You're going to put the foam into the planter. You don't want to push it too far. It should be kind of nice and firm in there. And then the moss, you might need to break it up and kind of fluff it out, but you're essentially going to cover the foam with that moss. And so this gives you a nice space to work with for the rolled flower bouquet. The first thing we're going to do is get our flowers rolled. So if you are using a hot glue gun, now is the time to plug in the hot glue gun and let it preheat. For the flowers, this piece in the center is the base. That is where the glue is gonna be applied and stick to the petals. So we are gonna start the rolling on the end of the spiral. And we don't want to bend where the petals meet. We want to curve the petals and try and roll it into a circle. It might start out kind of like a triangle or a square. You just want to try and pinch it and round it into a circle as best you can, so it's not as boxy. Once you get going, you can kind of pinch the ends and then just keep rolling around it. Once you get to the base, I like to kind of make sure it's well rounded. So I like to kind of roll it and pinch it so it's more curved. We are going to apply glue there, but before we do, I like to set it down, and you have to be careful here. We're going to make sure that we keep it small. If we let go, it's going to open up completely. We want to kind of hold it small and let go of the center part. This way it unravels in the center. And then that way it kind of looks a little bit more natural of a flower. It is kind of tricky because, again, you want to make sure that it's not expanding out of the base. So you have to hold on the outsides and let it unravel on the inside. Once you let it unravel like that, we are going to grab all the petals so that way the base is open. We're going to apply some glue at the base, and then we're going to rest the flower back onto the base. And there we have our flower. We're going to do this for all the flowers in your kit. So the next step is to get these rolled flowers onto your stem pieces. We did some of the prep work for you for this. We bought 16-inch floral stem wire. these are way too long for the kind of pot that we supplied in your kit. So what we actually did is we took jewelry cutters and we cut these into 5-inch pieces. And then we took jewelry needle nose pliers, and what we did is we grabbed the end of the wire and we curled it into one circle, and so that's going to be the very center of the circle. And then we grabbed it again and bent it into another circle. And then once we kind of had the circle shape, we grabbed the needle nose pliers and we bent it at a 90-degree angle. And so this will act as a base for the flowers to sit on. So now that we have our stems, our rolled flowers, and our leaves, we're gonna glue them all together. So with your bouquet, I have mine that is partially done. We're gonna have one flower in the center and then a couple of flowers on the outside. The flowers on the outside are gonna have 2 leaves that fan out, and then the flower on the inside is gonna have leaves that kind of wrap around the flower. So we're gonna start with the flowers that go on the outside. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take 2 petals and we are gonna bend them down a little. And so you can bend them down and then you can also bend them in. So that combination of bending down and bending in will give your leaf a little bit of texture. And we're gonna do that for both. So it's just one end we're bending down, and then the rest of the petal we're bending in. And so what we're gonna do is we are gonna glue these pieces under that circle. And they're gonna end up pointing outward when we put them in the pot. So we're gonna start with the first one. So on that part that we bent down, we're gonna apply a little bit of glue. And we're gonna glue it to that wire. Let that glue dry and do the next one. You do have to be careful that you don't burn yourself with hot glue. So here we have the leaves glued under the circle, under where the flower is going to go. And then we're going to put some glue on the base of our flower. And glue it on top. And then we can kind of push these together, sandwich them together. Again, be careful because the glue is hot. And now you have a flower that's ready to go on the outside of your bouquet. For the flower in the center, what I did is I glued the flower onto the base and let it cool. And then I took 2 leaves, and I applied a little bit of glue on each of them and kind of sandwiched them with the wire in the center and bent it up so it's kind of coming around the flower, just to kind of help hide the wire. But this way, because it's going up vertically, it's not going to get in the way of the other flowers when it's in the center. So it's going to help hide the floral stem, but it's not going to get in the way of these outer flowers. We're going to do that for about 3 more, so our full bouquet is going to have 5 flowers. Hopefully by the end of this video you have a flower bouquet that looks something like this. If you enjoyed this craft, please look for more Creative Studio programs in our newsletter or on our events calendar online. And thank you for joining me for today's craft. Have a nice day!